It is a great day to be alive, and I am so thankful for God, Jesus Christ, who lives in us. Today's video is titled XLM Dream. We're looking at confirmation due to additional information. Before we get started, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing that I'm sharing is financial advice. I'm simply sharing dreams, visions, and interpretations that I feel God has given me as it relates to crypto. Now, let's get into the video. So I want to go back to the very first XLM dream. I had two XLM dreams. The first one I had on October 26, 2022. This is the video where I shared that dream. I shared the price target that I saw. Basically, I was coming onto a college campus for the first time. I walked into a large room. This room was circular. It had columns all the way around, and in the middle of this room, there was an area with computers and a desk. And there were about 4 computers, all kind of pushed in an angle back to back, where you can walk up, use the computer as you needed it. I needed to use this computer to sell a course. The course name was XLM. The instructor was Jonathan McReynolds. And I was selling this course for over $2,000. I remember seeing 2, the comma, and then there were some numbers after it. So it's $2,000+ is what I was trying to sell this course for. It was obvious when I woke up from this dream that this was about XLM. God was giving me a price target where this coin would go. However, Jonathan McReynolds was the portion that I did not understand. Why was he in my dream? It wasn't until months later when I figured this out. I saw a post on Facebook Jonathan McReynolds had put out, and he was wearing a Stellar jersey. Stellar jersey. And that for me was confirmation that this dream was indeed about XLM, although it was obvious that I can look at XULUM and can see XLM within that. So basically God was giving me that confirmation. However, that was during that time. God has given me more understanding, more insight about this dream. And so now we're looking at a date of September 17th, which is his birthday. And I've already shared all of this in a previous video. But what I want to focus on now is more confirmation that this dream, of course, is about XLM. And looking at the letters XULUM, looking at the 2 U's. Why were the 2 U's there? It didn't have to be there, but for whatever reason it was. And because this was a course, a college course, I began to think about, subject areas. And so I decided to think about math. Well, in math, there's such thing as union and intersection. And when you're talking about union, you're bringing 2 things together. So in this example, you have circle A, circle B. Circle A has the numbers 7, 2, and 5. Circle B has the numbers 1, 8, 2, and 5. And when you put them together, when you union them together, it includes all of the numbers. So looking back at XULUM, I'm going to take X and union it with L and union that with M, and it's going to give me XLM. And then thinking back at what I saw when I walked into this room, I saw these columns, these Roman columns. And so I began to think about Roman numbers. So then I began to do a breakdown in this way. X, L, and M each represents a number. X represents 10, L represents 50, M represents 1,000. And again, union those together, putting them together, I decided to add them, and I came with the number 1,060. And because God works a lot with me when it comes down to days and deriving dates, I decided to make that days. Well, I began to, again, go back to October 26, 2022, when I had this first XLM dream. And I began to add that 1,060 days to that from that date. And I got a date of September 20th, 2025. So here we are again. The first XLM dream had to do with education. I was starting college on the first day. I knew it was the first day. The second XLM dream I had December 14th, 2024. And in this dream, it was about education, but it was about grade school and kids starting on the first day of school. I will show you the video where you can go back and listen to that second XLM dream. I'm going to get a little bit into that in just a second. But first, I want to look at the dates that we can cross off. August the 25th, August the 17th. Those dates were important to me because based on this dream, again, it was about education, the first day of school for grade school, first day of school for college. And so I began to look up dates as far as when school started this year for grade school, when school started this year as far as college, August 25th, August 18th. And I'm not sure there was any news that came out about XLM. But for me, I'm looking for one out of the few conclusions that I had about this stream. And so I crossed those dates off because I didn't see any price movement as far as XLM on those days. And so that leaves us with the date of September 17th, which is Jonathan McReynolds' birthday, September the 17th. And so again, all this began with a date range, July 19th through September 17th. And again, that's based off of the things that I was pulling out of the stream. And so to clean this up a little bit, we're looking again at the date of September 17th, Jonathan McReynolds, when it comes down to the price movement for XLM. And the question that I was asking out of all of the conclusions that I had here was, during this time frame, July 19th through September 17th, should we expect to see the price of XLM begin to move in a noticeable way to where we can see that, hey, XLM is moving forward and not looking back? And again, that date is September 17th. Well, if we go back and look at the derived date using the XL and M from that dream, as we begin to union those things together and add that together, September 20th, looking at how close that derived date was from Jonathan McReynolds' birthday, for me is confirmation. And so now I'm looking at September 17th and September 20th. Again, this is confirmation for me. I am still looking at September 17th as being the date. Is it possible that we hear news on September 17th and then it begins to move throughout the course of those 3 days? It's possible. Still praying about it. This is just new revelation that I feel God has given me. Again, I'm not expecting to see XLM jump up to $2,000 really quick. If it does, I'm fine with that. But here it is. This is what I want to share. This was new information. Now, here's a video where you can find the second XLM dream. And I'm going to this dream simply because there was a portion about KuCoin that I shared. I shared that this dream had 3 parts to it. It was the second part of this dream where I began to tell my husband, I was basically getting ready to tell a dream within a dream. I was getting ready to tell him about the dream that I had about KuCoin representative. The person called me, asked me if I wanted them to send me my trade confirmation. If you want to hear all of that, you have to go back and check out that video where I shared that dream. But 2 questions came from this dream as it relates to KuCoin. Should we expect to hear news about KuCoin being available again for those to use in the US? Should we expect to hear news about XLM peer-to-peer? In that dream, someone wanted to buy XLM from me. They weren't buying it from the platform. They were buying it from me directly. And so here again, this is like a timeline. During this time frame of July 19th through September 17th, should we expect to hear news about KuCoin being available to U.S. citizens again? Should we expect to hear news as relates to XLM and something to do with peer-to-peer trading? And then, of course, the last question that we've been talking about mainly, should we expect to see the price of XLM begin to move towards those higher prices, those noticeable prices between this time frame? Well, CFTC to soon issue clarification to allow users to trade on offshore crypto exchanges such as Binance. This is massive news. Pastor Greg from Prophetic Insight, he, as you can see here, titled his video, KuCoin and Offshore Exchanges Coming Back to the U.S. God bless you, Brother Greg, and thank you for taking the time to share this news with all of us. If you have not checked out Pastor Greg and his channel, Prophetic Insight, I recommend that you do. And so what am I saying from this? I am saying that God is bringing this timeline to pass. I feel like this, again, is more confirmation that XLM is getting ready to move. When you hear the news about KuCoin coming back, when you hear the news, and I believe that this is a part of that news, this is within that time frame that I feel like God was showing me. So I'm looking forward to seeing what God is going to do on September 17th or even on the date of September 20th as it relates to this dream. I'm just praying about this, and the more I pray about it, the more things I see. And again, this was additional information that brought about an additional date. So I thank and praise God for that. That is all that I have for this video. Until the next one, God bless.